Today I am bringing you the magic of deck building games with an assortment of builders from roguelike to cozy. For those that aren't super familiar with the genre, a simple summary would be to imagine you start a game with a tiny, unimpressive deck of cards. Think of it as the gaming equivalent of showing up to a gunfight with a butter knife. However, the more you play, the more you can acquire new cards, upgrade your deck, and turn that butter knife into an arsenal of strategic power. By the end, if you've played your cards right, literally, your deck can become a beautifully built behemoth that you can cackle maniacally as you crush your opponents with it. I'm your friendly neighborhood Abby, and this is If You Like, a series dedicated to finding specific things you enjoy about popular games and finding fun indie alternatives that have the potential to be your next comfort game. If your Achilles heel is your love for Greek mythology, or you fancy yourself a bit of an art connoisseur, then I may have just found your new obsession, Cards of Divinity. This little gem is a roguelike, turn-based deck builder, but instead of just slinging generic spells, you're stepping into the sandals of a Greek god, commanding legendary heroes and mythological icons like you're running your own divine D&D campaign. You'll build your deck using a mix of spells, buffs, and hero cards, all while battling your way through different realms. It's strategic, a bit chaotic, and 100% designed to make you feel like an unstoppable deity, which honestly, who doesn't want that? The card art is stunning as it features actual classical artworks from painters like John Waterhouse and Frederick Leighton. It's like someone mashed up a gallery tour with a deck builder, and I'm very into it. Heads up though, because we're talking classical art, there's a bit of tasteful nudity here and there. The devs even made a point to say that these works are celebrated for their artistic merit and have been displayed in galleries and museums and other forms of media. So it's all part of the authentic art experience they're aiming for. But beyond the fancy visuals, the game itself, actually super fun. It's not just pretty to look at, it's satisfying to play, especially when you pull off a massive combo and absolutely smite your enemies like the all-powerful god you are. I do wish there was iconography or a sidebar to see all the card effects, but you can just hover over the cards to see, so it wasn't that much of an issue. If you want to check it out, Cards of Divinity is $9.99 Australian on Steam, and there are no achievements to chase. If you enjoy a bit of family drama between twin siblings, then I would bring your attention to Balantica. These siblings are literally balanced on a giant cosmic scale of hope and despair, and your job is to keep that thing from crashing harder than your 100 modded Baldur's Gate 3 run. Every time you slap a card down onto one of the twins, you're adding a bit of hope to their side of the scale. Nice, right? Well, not exactly. If you pile too much hope onto one twin and ignore the other, the scale starts to wobble. Let it tip too far and you start losing scale health, which is basically the game's way of saying you ruined everything, you stupid bitch. After each trial, the tilt of the scale doesn't just affect your win condition, it also affects the twins' relationship.
Don't be fucking rude. Are you kidding me?
Now, cards aren't just there to add hope, they come with all sorts of cool effects. Some cards synergize beautifully if you plan ahead, others total chaos unless you're careful. For the low price of free, I couldn't pass up recommending Balantica. There are also 23 achievements to unlock as well. A quick note about Balantica, the devs have disclosed some parts of the game have AI generated content. Their store page lists more information for those interested. If you don't want traditional cards for your deck building, how about magical polyhedrons? In Astragali, you chuck some fancy objects called dice, and these dice come with their own fun upgrades, because apparently even cubes need a glow up. The goal? Combine the numbers on your dice using a revolutionary gameplay innovation known as addition. That's right, you heard me, math. Whoever's sum is bigger wins the match. No degree in accounting required, just click, roll, and let chaos unfold. If you lose, however, the game thoughtfully kicks you from it, so you really feel that failure a touch more than average. So if you've ever wanted a game that blends ancient gambling traditions, cutting-edge maths, and an existential crisis, Astragali has you covered. Astragali is free on Steam and has no achievements. Okay, so if you love the idea of deck building, but the thought of constant battling makes you want to crawl under a blanket, I've got a little honourable mention for you. Welcome to Koi Farm, where instead of slaying monsters or strategizing epic combos, you're breeding the prettiest, most perfect koi you can imagine. Think of it like a koi beauty pageant, but with way less pressure, and way more cozy vibes. You'll mix and match different koi to discover gorgeous new color patterns. It's kind of like a chill puzzle where you're trying to unlock rare fish designs. And when you breed a koi that's an absolute masterpiece, you can save it as a collectible trading card. There's even a koi code system where you can share your coolest fish with friends or plop someone else's fancy koi into your own pond, kind of like a koi pen pal. I didn't personally play around with that feature, but it's there if you're into sharing your aquatic masterpieces. Fair warning though, this game is super relaxed. It's almost too relaxed. So it's the perfect game for playing while you're watching something or knitting or daydreaming about snacks.
Pizza time.
Breeding those perfect koi takes time, so no need to rush. And in case you're wondering, Koi Farm is $4.50 Australian on Steam and has no achievements to chase. While you're busy conquering decks and mastering mechanics, do yourself a favor and put Scarecrow Tactics on your radar, because this game is part strategy, part sneaky mind games, and all kinds of chaotic fun. In Scarecrow Tactics, you're battling for control of different regions of a board, but instead of just throwing down your soldier cards and calling it a day, you also get scarecrows. And these aren't your average, friendly cornfield guardians. These scarecrows are masters of deception, tricking your opponent into thinking you've got way more troops than you actually do. Each scarecrow has its own special ability, so you can collect an entire squad of sneaky straw boys and mercenaries to mess with your enemies in increasingly fun ways. I had such a blast with this one. It's funny, it's clever, and honestly I had no choice but to throw it on my wishlist and prepare for full release greatness. There's a free demo chilling on Steam right now. There aren't any achievements, but who needs achievements when you've got an army of tactical scarecrows? Thanks for sticking around and letting me rabbit on about these games. Hopefully I threw a few new ones your way, or at least gave you something to chuck on your wishlist for a rainy day. If you've got any ripper recommendations for games in this genre, or if you want to throw a cheeky request my way for the next video, drop it in the comments. I actually love hearing from you. And yes, that's you specifically. Don't go getting all shy on me now. Alrighty, I'm off. I'll see you around like a result.